A very warm welcome, folks, to a brand new episode of Finmet Mondays. Sunil, we're recording this as of 12th of April, Sunday. Just this weekend, I think the markets were patiently waiting for developments around the ceasefire talks happening between Iran, Pakistan, who's now involved, and the US as well, right? And we have now learned that they have fallen through. They've not really met, they've not gotten to an agreement. I want to understand from you beyond the obvious understanding of how this will play in regards to the crude oil prices, in regards to gold. Are there some other factors in the markets that our viewers should be aware about? And what's the general outlook for this week, given this new development that we have on our hands today?
We have a gold is sort of stuck in this range because there's two forces playing. There's some short-term forces and some medium-term forces. So I want to talk about that. I think in the short term, there is clearly a flight of money into gold because of uncertainty, also because people have dollars and I think they feel more comfortable now putting into gold. So we are seeing that push up on gold. And I think that momentum is going to continue this week. It's going to be a combination of uncertainty, diversification, various other things. So there's a short-term push for gold upwards. But I think in the medium term, one thing is becoming clear is that inflation is around to stay. So therefore, interest rates are going to be higher for longer. And therefore, there's going to be a little bit of pressure on gold because with high interest rates, the alternatives in bonds would look much more attractive than gold, which doesn't give you yield. So you've got this short-term, long-term, medium-term game playing right now. So short-term, I think we're going to be bullish. I'd be interested to hear what the charts are saying and what the technicals are showing.
I have the daily chart for US spot gold right here. We attempted to break out of this symmetrical descending wedge sort of a pattern over here, where there was an attempt made on Thursday on the back of possible ceasefire developments, right? And you saw that the markets hit this resistance level that I'd spoken about last week, 4,828. This is where we've tried to hit again, but we've come down, and then again we've tried to make a pushback. And again, we've seen that there's been some failure. There was a temporary pause on Friday because obviously the developments on Saturday were awaited, and now that we have confirmation, we now know that this 4828 level is now going to be the first resistance for us, and we're going to fall back into this symmetrical pattern into the in the following week as we come. The first level that we need to watch out for is the pivot here, which is 4,600. This is where we've seen some pullbacks and some momentum over here. You've seen a lot of buying sentiment over here. So this 4,600 level is the first level. And the more long-term support that we have is 4,354, which is on the downside, right? So this level still remains as our first major support. In the much more broader sense, we have the 5,100 level on the top. If let's say there is a positive development in the favor of gold, and on the downside we have a level which is all the way down here to 4,100, right? So we're talking about this $1,000 range, and mainly 4,800 and 4,600, 4,800, 4,600 and 4,350. This is the range that we're now going to be focusing on in the coming week. Thanks, Sunil. That was a quick, just a roundup of the levels. Let's see how the markets play out this week. Till then, thank you so much and goodbye.